If I sink the boat, y'all could just stand up and walk out. We're going to do a big circle around downtown. We'll end up right back here in about 30 minutes. Listos? Ready? Vámonos, y'all. Straight ahead of us at street level is La Villita. La Villita means little village. This is where the missionaries founded Native American settlements. The original buildings were all destroyed by floods. Most of the ones you see up there today were built in the 1800s. Today, La Villita is an arts district. They have shops, cafes, restaurants, about 1 block by 2 blocks. They also host a lot of cultural events. Like tonight, they're hosting an event ahead of us in the Arneson River Theater. It's called the Fiesta Noche del Rio. There'll be dancing and music ahead of us on the stage. You can buy tickets over here on the left side at this little table. Show starts at 8:30. You may have already seen the stage on the right in the movie Miss Congeniality, starring Sandra Bullock. The second pageant in the movie took place up on the stage on the right side. Here's the rehearsal right now. We've had many dancers perform here. One of the most renowned was Rosita Fernandez. She began her dance performance at the top of this little bridge, and so they named it after her. This is Rositas Bridge. Speaking of dancers, do y'all know how flamenco dancers fish? They cast a net. They're just going to keep getting worse and worse, y'all. You're stuck out here with me. Over on the right above the waterfalls, the Briscoe Western Art Museum. It has many paintings and sculptures of the Wild West. Like this one ahead of us on the right of a vaquero, a cowboy, driving his cattle. Y'all know the best way to count cattle? With a calculator. My last group mooed me for that joke. Can I get a moo? Moo. Ah, that's music to my ears. Although y'all weren't very loud, I don't think anyone heard you. They heard me. Now as I steer the boat under this low bridge, please watch your heads. If y'all hear me yell duck, I'm not talking about the birds. This is the Presa Street Bridge ahead of us. I know so because it says so right there on the side of it. When they built it in the 1890s, they weren't planning on boat tours going underneath it. Ahead of us, on the right side, is an island surrounded by water. This is Marriage Island on the right. Over 200 weddings take place here every year. I saw a wedding here yesterday. We drove right through it. Right now it's where the ducks are hanging out under the cypress trees. Before this bridge was built, this was the site of a popular river crossing. The pioneers and cowboys, they would use this spot to ford the river. They'd even drive their cattle over the spot as they went in and out of town. Speaking of, you know what you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. You know what you call a cow with no back legs? An utter drag. Do you know what you call a cow in an earthquake? A milkshake. Do you know why cows have hooves? Because they lactose. What do you call a mama cow that just had a baby? Decaffeinated. Over here on the left side, this is the Tower Life building. If you look way up at the very top, near the American flag, you'll see some monsters, some gargoyles, way up there at the very top. That's how you know this building is neo-Gothic. Any of you see the movie Ghostbusters? It was not that building. But if you're lucky, maybe you'll see Spider-Man or Batman way up there. If you look on the second story on the left, you'll see the Gothic arched windows. Just below those, between the first and second windows, you'll see some ugly faces. These ugly faces up here, they're called grotesques. They were put on the Tower Life building for superstitious reasons. These are here to ward away bad business. We know they don't work. The Tower Life building was completed in 1929, just before the great stock market crash. The developers went bankrupt. Straight ahead of us is the Bexar County Courthouse. It's that building with the acorn-shaped dome dead ahead. It's also called Big Red because it's made out of red sandstone, although some people take it for granite. It's in a Romanesque revivalist style that was popular in the late 1800s. Thank you for groaning at my granite joke. Over on the right, one of our two marinas where we dock our boats. We plug them in to charge up overnight because they're all electric. And straight ahead of us is the green traffic light, Floodgate 4. I'm going to honk the horn to let the other boats know that we're coming out. Floodgate 4 opens from the bottom up like a drawbridge. We're going to go over the floodgate right now. The river continues 200 miles to the left all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Only thing standing between us and Cancun, the top of the 15-foot dam behind us. You can see it just down there at the top of that dam. We could go that way, but I figure we could only do it one time. Besides, you know when they say, don't go chasing waterfalls. We're now inside a man-made flood control channel. This was constructed after a horrible flood in the 1920s that devastated San Antonio. The floodwaters got 9 feet above street level. There's photos of rowboats going up and down the streets here. That's how bad it was. So the city constructed the flood channel we're inside, as well as the floodgates and dams all up and down the river to control the water level, which is the whole reason why we have a Riverwalk out here today. Once you control the water level, you can pave the sides of the riverbanks and open up shops and restaurants. The flood control system is the whole reason why we have a Riverwalk out here today. Y'all know where fish keep their money? In a riverbank. Over on the left is the oldest part of town. If you go behind the trees on the left up the stairs, you'll be inside Main Plaza, the site of the original settlements of San Antonio. The town of San Antonio was founded by Spanish settlers from the Canary Islands. They arrived here in the early 1700s under the orders of King Philip of Spain. Shortly after the first missionaries arrived. Y'all aren't allowed to listen to him.
Mostly just residential blocks, stores up here. A lot more private people. Talk about these tollboats. Before we go back into the relationship of the river, you look in front of the and above here at the corner. We'll see the largest and oldest tree along the entire wall.
That was a corporate that just flew through there. Hey, I was just about to say that. Straight ahead of us, the oldest and tallest cypress tree on the Riverwalk. It's over 200 years old and over 90 feet tall. A couple of years before the Battle of the Alamo was the Siege of Bexar. That's where the Texans took over San Antonio. The leader of those Texans was a man named Milo. He's over on the left side, trying to find a way to attack Main Plaza, when he was shot and instantly killed by a sharpshooter hiding up in that cypress tree. Excuse me, the tree ahead of us. He was standing over there. He was shot by a guy up there. We're about to rejoin the natural path of the river. We're going to enter the horseshoe of Horseshoe Bend, and we're going to head underneath Floodgate 3. There's pigeons up here on the floodgate, so don't look up with your mouth open. You want to hear my construction joke? I'm still working on it. Nailed it. It's a work in progress. After the scaffolding on the right is the Esquire Tavern, the oldest bar on the Riverwalk. It opened up the day after Prohibition ended. Somehow they already had a fully stocked bar ready to go. That's because this was a speakeasy during Prohibition, disguised as a barber shop. So you could go in there and get a buzz and a cut. Ahead of us is another one of our 3 boat locations. They all do the same routes, they just tell better jokes than me. This one is in front of the Aztec Theater coming up on the right side. The Aztec Theater, opened up in the roaring 20s, is a silent movie picture palace with an exotic Aztec theme. If you look up on the balcony on the right, you'll see an Aztec sculpture up there. Straight ahead of us, the most famous bridge on the Riverwalk. This is Selena's Bridge, named for the Tejana singer and dancer Selena, Bitty Bitty Bamba. You may have seen Jennifer Lopez up at the top of this bridge when she played Selena in the movie. A lot of people like to recreate that scene, which is why this is also called the Kissing Bridge. Besos, y'all. Although I think it should be called the Selfie Bridge. On the left is the La Mansión Hotel with the prettier buildings we'll see out here today. It's in a Spanish colonial revivalist style. It's on the site of the original campus of St. Mary's University, which is now on the west side of San Antonio. One of the alumni built this hotel. We have lots of ice cream places out here, lots of options to scream for ice cream. And the Riverwalk is open container. Most of the restaurants do drinks to go. After the cruise, you can also scream for margaritas too. After we pass under this bridge, we're going to see an optical illusion. Look on the left side of the river, straight up at the top of the building. Left side, straight up at the top. Does this building look flat to y'all? That was the Nix Hospital building, one of the first hospitals in the country to have air conditioning. Comedian Carol Burnett, she was born in that hospital, as well as Oliver North from the Iran-Contra scandal. On the right is one of our fancy dinner boats. They're setting the table now. Our dinner boats are so fancy the drivers have to raise their pinkies as they drive the boat. The part of the river where you're most likely to find some live music out here later tonight. There'll probably be a live band or two, maybe even a DJ. Y'all know what you call a disc jockey with a graduate degree? A mix master. Dr. Dre obviously has his PhD. That joke was for me. Straight ahead of us, the Hyatt Regency Hotel. If you go straight through that lobby, out the back, up the stairs, you'll be directly in front of the Alamo. In fact, this hotel was limited to 16 stories in height, so as not to cast a shadow upon the Alamo.